Look, babe, I'm telling you, just give the store one more chance. I promise you, we'll have customers.
Matt, the only people who come into the store is that crackhead and the weird hipster guy.
Oh, okay, but give it till spring break. Just give it till spring break. I promise you, there'll be tons of teens coming into the store to rent movies.
Most teens stream their movies now. Look, I understand you grew up working at the video store, but don't you think it's time to let it go? I mean, think about how much money you could save if you just close the store.
Maybe you're right. It's just, ever since my dad retired, I didn't want to see this store go. It was a big part of my childhood, and, you know, it's just... I'll call you right back. Why does this always happen? Move Out Video, this is Matt. What's up?
Hello, Matthew.
Oh, hey, Braylon. How did the Ninja Turtle premiere go?
Oh, it went very well.
Yeah, right.
No, I mean, actually, it went very well.
Wait, what?
You see, after playing those DVDs beforehand, I hit up one of my guys who manages the drugstore nearby, and he let me use his Wi-Fi.
Oh. Huh.
So I just want to say...
Don't you dare.
Physical media...
Don't you dare say it.
...is dead. I mean, who buys disc anymore?
Come on, man. People still rent DVDs.
Yeah, I mean, a few weirdos like Gary. You see, Matthew, most people just stream movies at home now. I mean, it's way more convenient than having to drive all the way to the video store or having to buy a bunch of DVDs. But with streaming, you have a bunch of movies to watch for only a few bucks a month. So yeah, screw physical media.
You know what, man? It's pretty ironic that you're pro-streaming.
Now what's that supposed to mean?
Because everything you said about physical media can be applied to theaters. I mean, going to a theater is pretty inconvenient. I mean, why go all the way to a theater where you could just wait for a little bit and watch the movie on Netflix or something? Hell, some movie companies are just releasing their movies on streaming now.
That is a good point.
I don't know why you're so happy that streaming is killing physical media, because it's entirely possible it can do the same thing to theaters. Look, man, I gotta go. Good luck with your movie theater, because it might not stick around.
Well, shit. Huh? Hello?
Braylon, my brother! Rush him off! They're here!
Welcome back to Cinemore Reviews, and today we're going to talk about something that's near and dear to our hearts, and it's been something we wanted to talk about for a while, and that is physical media.
Physical media.
Yeah, as you can see right here, we decided to show off some of our, physical media right here. I got a bunch of tapes, DVDs, and shit. And you guys already know I have like a shit ton of like tapes over there on the shelf.
Watch his collection video. I'll put it in the description. He posted that like
Yeah.
back in 2022.
Today we just wanted to talk about physical media and talk about streaming and stuff. Now, before we get into this, we want to mention that we're not like boomers who are trying to say, streaming bad, physical media good. We think, streaming's not bad. I think it's very good. Like, convenience sake, like let's say you're on a vacation and you want to watch something, you could just stream it. I think that's fine. But the thing is, there's just some problems with streaming services, and we think that streaming and physical media should coexist. It should So
Yeah.
the first thing I have to say is that I think really one of the only pros to streaming is the convenience, in my opinion. I think that's really one of the only pros to streaming. But to be honest, there's a lot more cons to streaming, in my opinion.
And I
Yeah.
already know one I can think of. It might just also be because of inflation, but prices have gotten out of control.
I'm just gonna say this right now. I'm surprised more people aren't collecting physical media, because you can go to a Goodwill and get like this right here. I got this for like I got this for $10 at the flea market.
Yeah, I
right
bought this
here.
at a thrift store. I bought this for $7 at a thrift store.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah.
these DVDs are so damn cheap. I'm surprised more people aren't collecting
And
this. I'm
there's
just
so
so
many other problems with streaming. Another problem I have with streaming is, like, if you go back 10 years ago, let's go back to like 2013, 2014. There was only 3 streaming services: Netflix, excuse me, Hulu, and Amazon. There was over dozens of them now, dozens and
yeah,
dozens. We got Disney Plus, Paramount Plus, Peacock, Max, uh,
too many.
AMC Plus. Like, there's all this stuff to it, and instead of like having all these formats together, like you might have Nickelodeon shows and Cartoon Network shows on Hulu. You might have some Disney on Netflix. But now, if you want to watch your Disney movie or something that's owned by Disney, you have to buy Disney Plus. But then if you want to watch like a Cartoon Network show, you're gonna have to go to Max, man. So you're gonna have to buy all these streaming services, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
I can't imagine how expensive that is.
Yeah.
That has to be so expensive. Like just having all these streaming services to watch these shows. That's got to be ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the biggest, and I mean one of the biggest problems with streaming services, is some of these services like Paramount Plus and Disney Plus. They're actually censoring episodes of shows and movies. Have you heard about the incident where I think Paramount Plus just fully took away the Panty Raid
Yeah.
episode of SpongeBob?
Yeah,
Now that is
they did that
ridiculous.
recently. So the only way you can watch the Panty Raid episode is if you have it on DVD. Because on
Or you pirate it.
oh, you pirate, yeah. But if we're going like officially,
I
even
love
some
it.
streaming service, like other ones like Netflix, you know the movie comedy Superbad?
Yeah, yeah. What
Yeah,
about it?
they actually removed one of the scenes from Superbad on Netflix. They just removed
What
it.
scene?
I think it was like it was some like joke scene. Hold on, I'm gonna look. But I was rewatching Superbad. I was like, isn't there supposed to be a scene here? But no, they removed it. Hold on.
Yeah, yeah, and that's really scary because like we shouldn't have to deal with that. Like if I'm paying for a streaming service, like I want to see the movie uncensored. I just think that's really stupid. That's like something a TV channel would do. I would never expect that from like a streaming service.
Yeah, I don't understand because that's why I like DVDs so much. Because the thing that make DVDs so appealing to me is they would be all uncensored. I mean, in fact, some DVDs would have like unrated versions that just had all the deleted scenes and all that. But with streaming, they'll keep censoring shit and all that, and I don't like it. I just personally do not like it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just really scary because you've mentioned before when the Mario movie came out, you were talking to your friends and then you said, "Hey, do you guys want to buy on DVD?" And they said it's like they told you it was like an old school way of buying
Yeah, so
movie.
basically when I was a senior last year, I had to do a school project on just like doing design work because I'm a graphic designer and all that. That's another story, but I said, you know what, I'm gonna get a little creative. How about I make some custom DVD and VHS tape cases? And that's what I did. And I sent them to my teacher. And my teacher, she's only like 30 or something. She's awesome. I'll shout out to her. But she said, oh, I really like that you're using a old school type of media. And I'm like, hearing DVD being old school, VHS being old school, I get, but just hearing DVD
Yeah.
being old school, that actually terrifies
Shit,
me.
I dropped my DVDs, but this is old school. Okay, okay, that's actually old school because it's Batman Begins. But this is old school. I mean,
Like, that's
this
old school? Like, shit.
they're still making these. What? Yeah, and like we said, it's just gonna get worse because lots of people. And here's the thing: it feels like the only people who buy physical media anymore, excuse me, buy physical media anymore, is either older people or people like us who are big film
Movie
fans.
fans.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so I feel like physical media, probably 20 years from now, it's going to be more of like, I don't think it's fully going to go away per se. I think it's going to be more of like an exclusive thing. Like, hey, if you want a DVD of this, you can buy it off the website. Because I think companies are still going to sell them. I think certain companies, not, probably not Disney. Disney will probably fully do
Go
away with
Plus.
DVDs.
Yeah.
Yeah, they will do away with it because Disney, like, I don't mean to go off a rant on Disney. I'm not a Disney fan, by the way, but from what I heard about them, they're just a very just greedy company.
Another thing that's also scaring me about physical media. You know, like how Netflix is doing the IP address thing, where basically what Netflix is doing, they haven't done it with all Netflix accounts yet, but they've been doing this thing that you can only have a Netflix account under one IP address. And
Oh, is this the password sharing
yeah,
that people
they're
were
trying to
talking
remove
about?
password sharing. That scares me too, because imagine let's take physical media for example. Let's say I'm going to a friend's house. I'm like, hey guys, you guys want to watch Step Brothers? I could
Oh,
just
I hate that movie.
I love this
I'm
movie.
sorry, I hate it.
We
Oh,
but let's say let's go watch Step Brothers. I can go to any house of mine. I can go to a friend's house. I can go to a hotel. I can go anywhere and play this movie if it has a DVD player. But let's take Netflix now. If you guys want to watch whatever Netflix movie, you guys are gonna have to be at my house, I guess. You guys can't I can't log in at my Netflix account to any of your houses.
yeah. Speaking of logging in, I remember one time I went over to my friend's house, and this is one of the big examples why I like physical media a lot better. I remember we wanted to watch the Five Nights at Freddy's movie because one of our friends haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
So I had to go through the tedious process of using this crappy ass remote for the smart TV to try to put in my email, put in my password. Then I had to look on my phone because they're like, "Oh, is this you?" So I had to do all that shit. Like sometimes I know this sounds really stupid, but sometimes it could just be so frustrating. Put in the password and everything.
It
And
takes
the
too
worst part
long.
about it,
Yeah.
I inactivated my Peacock account because I don't use Peacock. The only reason I used it just to watch that movie, and I remember I was so frustrated because I was like, "Oh shit, I gotta reactivate this." It's so stupid. And one more thing, I've been seeing a lot of videos on TikTok, and it's just videos of some of these people saying, "Bro, I just want to watch this movie, but I can't find it on any streaming services." And I'm just like, "Bro, get a DVD, you know?"
Get a
Yeah,
D.
like
And that's the thing, like I like how you brought up the logging in and all that. It takes so much time. With DVD, you just pop it in. There you go.
there
Now
you go.
now you might have to go through like maybe an FBI warning or something, but really the FBI warning takes like what, 10 seconds? And then once you
Well,
get
there is a lot of trailers though. Trailers
yeah.
suck.
I think you could skip over some of them. It depends. I'd have to look
Yeah.
at some of my movies again. That can suck, but for the most part, though, I mean, I'd rather have that than just having to, go on a shitty smart TV and trying to type in my shit. But
That's true. Yeah,
yeah.
that's true.
Did you
Yeah.
hear that Blockbuster actually made a joke about the password sharing thing? So
Oh, I didn't know about that. I,
So
I
even
should
though
have known.
Blockbuster, yeah, even though Blockbuster's, it's been gone for over a decade now, which is crazy to think about. Yeah, we love Blockbuster. The Twitter
Yeah.
page is still up, like they still post from time to time. Well, when Netflix announced its password sharing, Blockbuster said, we didn't have to. You guys could share all of our movies whenever you wanted to, and we wouldn't
Oh,
care.
damn.
Because I
Damn,
mean,
bro.
it's kind of true. You could go to Blockbuster, go rent a movie, and go take it anywhere you want.
See, man, I think getting physical media now is better than ever, in my opinion. Because with Blockbuster, like back then, DVDs were just a little bit more expensive to
Yeah.
buy, and with Blockbuster, like as much as I miss it, as much as I miss Blockbuster, the whole late fees and stuff, I don't miss that. I
Yeah.
really don't miss that. Yeah, and also another thing, let's say you go on the Blockbuster and they don't have the movie on DVD. I don't miss that either, but still, I still love Blockbuster. It's just like there's some cons with it, but it's still the best. Like, come
Yeah.
on.
But I'm glad you brought that up too, because yeah, I would say as of now, it's best to get physical media because how affordable and cheap it is
Yeah.
now.
It's so cheap. And also you told me one time that you had a neighbor that threw away like a bunch of DVDs
Yeah.
one time.
So
That's
I
nuts.
had a neighbor So I was story time. So I was walking with my dogs and all that. It was around Christmas time, and I was walking next to one of my neighbor's house. They had this like tin trash can, and I looked into it real quick. It was no garbage or anything, just bunch of DVDs, just nothing but DVDs, and they had some good stuff in there. They had like the first two Home Alone movies. They've had It's a Wonderful Life, Fight Club, and all these good movies, and I'm like.
Fight Club, bro. What?
Yeah, they had Fight Club, Happy Gilmore. I'm like, why do you guys want to throw away all these movies? So I literally just took it, and they had movies like they had Hangover in there. This is one of the movies they had in there. I was like, who's throwing this shit
Dude.
away? I'm taking this home with me. So now I have a bunch of movies.
Yeah, like why didn't they just donate it to like a Goodwill? That would have been a better idea.
Yeah, but no, they were gonna throw them away. It's like I'm not having this shit go to waste. I'm taking this with me.
Yeah, take it home. Yeah,
And
that is insane.
and
Like I said, it just blows our mind that there's still not many people like getting physical media now. And I understand that there's some people who are minimalist. I probably butchered that word. Minimalist. Excuse me, minimalist. There's some people that just don't like to own a lot of things, which is completely understandable. Like you don't want to become a hoarder like I am. You don't want to be like this. Trust me, this is not the life you want to live, but I think there's no problem with just owning maybe like 4 DVDs of your favorite movie that you like. I don't think there's any problem with that. If you just own like maybe like 10 DVDs you like, I think that's a good way of, having some movies around but still being minimalist. I just want to get that out of the way because I know there's probably going to be some people in the comments saying I'm a minimalist, so I prefer streaming. But bro, you can still own DVDs,
yeah,
Having one or two lying around is fine.
yeah,
Here's the thing, we're older Gen Z, like we grew up like we're part of the part of Gen Z that was born in like the late 90s and early 2000s. Us, we were born in the early 2000s.
yeah,
And there's still a lot of people our age. Like there's collectors our age that do collect physical media, but there are a niche group of people, to be honest. They're a niche group of people.
yeah.
And yeah, so I feel like we're a part of that little community, but I'm glad there's still some people from our generation that do collect this. I just don't want older folks watching this to get the idea of like we're like the only people from Gen Z
Yeah,
that
like
collect
if
it.
you're a filmmaker, like if you love films like we do, then I think, it's still pretty common to find even people our
Yeah.
age. But if you're like a casual, like, you kind of just put movies on just, because, for the most part, I haven't really seen that many physical media collectors. A lot of them our age kind of just moved on from physical media. They just said, let's go get some Netflix or some Peacock or some Paramount. But well, growing up, I've always been around physical media because, growing up as a Gen Zer, in our generation, DVD was a thing. We had a Blu-ray. Blu-ray was starting to come around the time we were born. So, my parents bought a bunch of Blu-rays and stuff growing up. I had some grandparents too. Like they had VHS tapes still, and I mean they still do to this very day. That's how I got into movies like Rocky, Star Wars, and Indiana Jones was because of VHS. And for a while, I was, just, that's how I saw movies. Like, I would just watch them on VHS, DVD, or Blu-ray. And then around middle school, I would say maybe 2017, 2018, I was like, you know what? I should start a collection of these things because at this point, most of my family members kind of moved on to streaming around this time. I was the only one that was still, buying movies like this. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start a collection. So I just kept buying and buying movies. I was like, okay, let's find a movie. Back to the Future. I'm gonna buy it. Indiana Jones, buy it. I just kept buying as much movies as I can, and I started a shelf just like you. But that's pretty much my summary. But what you got to say on it?
Okay, so yeah, well, I grew up around physical media as well. And my family, they still used VHS tapes. I mentioned that in the TMNT movie reviews. My family still had a bunch of VHS tapes, and yeah, so all my life I was around physical media, and even in the age of streaming, we still owned a lot of like DVDs and stuff. And honestly, my family didn't really fully switched from streaming to, I mean, excuse me, from physical media to streaming Like till this day, my dad still uses DVDs. My mom, she mostly streams. My dad, every now and then, he'll use a DVD. Actually, sometimes he'll come into my room and say, "Hey Matthew, do you have this on DVD?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, you can have this." But yeah, but the reason why I started collecting movies because you see, before I started the collection, I would watch a lot of movies on Netflix. I was a big Netflix guy back in the day. And yeah, so I will watch a lot of shows on Netflix. But what really just brought my blood to a boil about Netflix is that during that time, they're probably still doing this till this day. They were adding more movies off than they were adding more movies on. Like one of my favorite movies during that time was one of the CGI Garfield movies. I think it was like Garfield Gets Real or something. Uh, yeah, but that was one of my favorite movies at the time.
Okay, I'm getting off topic for a minute. When you said Garfield gets what? I thought you said Garfield gets railed, and I'm like, what the fuck?
No, Garfield Gets Real. Gets
Oh, I
real.
thought he said he gets railed, and I'm like,
For
shit.
real.
Did John
Yeah.
rail him? Shit, keep going.
God.
Uh,
Okay. Adding a lot. They were taking a lot of movies off. I was pissed off. Like my 13-year-old self was pissed off. And I went on YouTube and then I saw all these collection videos and I ended up seeing a video from James Rolfe. He showed off his massive movie collection and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start doing that. So in 2016, I started going around the house, going up in the attic, finding any movie that interests me, and I was putting it on a shelf. Then my uncle began to notice and he was like, "Hey Matthew, there's tons and tons of movies at thrift stores that you can get." And I was like, "What?" So I went to thrift stores and like, dude, I shit you not, I bought like 20 tapes one time and that was only like maybe $30 or just a couple dollars
just
at
20
Goodwill.
VHS tapes for $30? That is
Yeah, no, not for $30, for like $3, $3,
oh, free.
or maybe 10. Maybe it was 10, but it was cheap as fuck.
That is
It was
cheap as
cheap.
fuck, and that's an easy way. Thrift stores, I'm just gonna tell you, for anyone that wants to get into physical media collecting, go to thrift stores, go to Goodwills. Trust me, you'll find some good stuff.
Yeah, definitely. So that's the big reason why I owned all these VHS tapes. And honestly, getting tapes, like don't get me wrong, I bought some of these online, but most of them are from thrift stores. Most of them, because like I like going to thrift stores better because the price is so much better. I mean, $1 for like let's for example, $1 for this movie. I mean, come on, you can't beat that. You can't beat that.
That movie's not
Anyway,
worth shit. That movie's not worth shit. We're over that
no,
movie.
I got that for free. Yeah, that was for free. Okay.
Good.
Anyways, but
Yeah.
yeah, $1 for a VHS tape. Sign me up. And also I got a lot of DVDs too. And also because I was collecting, my sister actually saw what I was doing, and my sister is a massive Disney fan. So she has a shit ton, and I mean a shit ton of Disney tapes that would go for like thousands and thousands of dollars on eBay in her room. She has a ton of Disney tapes.
And see, that's
Yeah.
another thing too. Like physical media, that's another thing I worry about is that one day, let's say, imagine like Disney, for example, stops making, physical media altogether. Most of those VHS and DVDs, they're probably gonna go for a lot of money.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
lot of money. Yeah, and another sad thing about thrift stores now, whenever I go to a thrift store, like don't get me wrong, some of them still sell VHS tapes and physical media, but there's some thrift stores out there that are saying, well, people don't really buy these anymore, so we're just gonna not sell them, which I think kind of sucks,
Kind of sucks.
because yeah, I mean not all thrift stores do that, at least in my area, but there's some thrift stores that for some reason they're not doing that anymore, or maybe they do have some, but it's just a few DVDs or whatever.
Like maybe
Right.
like less than 10. Trust me, I've seen thrift
Yeah,
stores for like less than 10 DVDs. But
yeah. Dude, I just realized I've been collecting physical media for nearly 10 years, nearly 8 years now. But in 2 years, it'll be 10 years. Holy shit, I'm old.
I am glad though, like stuff like my Goodwill, like I still go to my Goodwill and they have tons and tons of DVDs. So I still go to Goodwill and just buy a shit ton.
Oh, do you want to hear a funny story?
What?
Okay. Yeah, okay, so apparently, okay, I'm going to assume that an older person's probably doing this. I remember when I was buying Batman versus Superman on Blu-ray at Goodwill, and this cost me like $1. $1. Okay, I want to
Dude,
rewatch, one day. I want to rewatch this one day. Okay, don't judge me. But I bought this movie, and they're asking me, "Hey, did you check the DVD?" And yeah, I said, "Yeah, I checked it. What's up?" And they said, "Oh, there's like some person around here who's like, you know, stealing the DVDs out the case." You, like, remember like when video stores were still a thing and shoplifters would steal the DVDs?
Yeah, they would
Like,
just take the DVD like out of the case
yeah.
and just snatch it.
Yeah, like somebody in my town is still doing that till this day at Goodwill to get like free movies. You know that,
No, the DVD snatcher, bruh.
dude. And these things are like $1. That's couch cushion money. Like, why would you steal this if it's like $1? Are
Just
they that
1 buck.
broke?
I
Are
guess
they that
so. Like
broke?
shit, bro.
Damn, they are that fucking broke. But yeah, do you
Like,
want to get into why? Like we're gonna get into we're probably gonna get into the technical aspect of why physical media is way better than streaming. I know we kind of talked about it in the beginning, but I want to talk about mainly the quality of the film. Um,
yeah, actually, I kind of want to get into that too. So, DVD was 720p, I believe.
yeah, 720p.
20p. Blu-ray was 1080p, and then 4K is, 4K HD.
Hmm.
And as for streaming, I think it varies though, just what TV you have. Because some TVs, like, offer, 4K streaming, and some just, don't. But yeah, I think as for quality wise and all that, I mean, they're pretty good. I mean, DVD you can definitely tell is dated, but I think getting like a Blu-ray, for example, I mean, it still looks good. Like on my TV, when I put in a Blu-ray, it still looks really good. But
Yeah. Now, I actually don't mind 720p all that much because honestly, as long as it's in decent HD, I really don't mind because you know me, I'm old school. Like,
yeah.
yeah, I really don't mind if it's HD. But one day, probably when I move out, I do want to get a 4K TV and watch this on 4K because I would love to see something like the Suicide Squad in great quality. But anyways, about the technical aspect of movies, if like it's way better when you buy the disc because here's the thing about streaming, like you brought up, some TVs don't do like 4K movies all that well, and also even if you do have a 4K TV, it really depends on your internet because like here's the thing, like if you want to watch a movie in the best quality possible on a streaming service, you're gonna need good internet, very good internet, which can be pretty expensive. Like you gotta think about it. If you're paying for good internet, and like let's say you're paying like let's say $40 for your internet, and this is like good as internet, and you're paying $30 for Netflix. That's pretty much like a few hundred. Well, okay, I could be fucking wrong. I'm bad at math, but it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money that you're spending just to watch a movie in good quality. But if you just buy the disc, in 4K, you don't have to worry about all that internet bullshit.
Bring up the internet. They use a lot of streaming. You need Wi-Fi and all that, but with Blu-ray or DVD, no. You could have no Wi-Fi. Your Wi-Fi could go out for like a week, and if you had this, you could still watch it perfectly fine.
Exactly, man. Like if you live in if you live out in the boonies somewhere where Wi-Fi is just dog shit, you really need to like collect like a disc or something. You really need one of these because like you can watch this anywhere. Like you could be out in the Sahara where there's no internet. All you have is like sand and maybe like a bottle of water with you. And let's say you want to watch a movie. All you need is the disc and a portable DVD player. That's all you need if you're out in the desert about to die.
Exactly. And portable DVD players, they're getting cheaper now too, because back then they were pretty expensive. I think like the Blu-ray one I have, I remember I got it back in the day. It was like $100 something. But I just went on Amazon the other day just to find a portable DVD player. It was $30 just for a portable,
Yeah.
just $30. That's not a bad deal at all.
Want to get a portable Blu-ray player. I have a portable DVD player up there, but the quality isn't the best for some reason. So I kind of want to get the Blu-ray player. Now my sister has a Blu-ray player, so I actually might ask her for that. I don't know if she's using it all that much, but
But
yeah, man, honestly, I know I said this a million times. I don't mean to drag this through the mud, but I'm just so shocked that the average person isn't collecting DVDs. I'm just so shocked because there's honestly, man, there's just more pros when it comes to DVDs. Now there are a couple of cons which I want to get into real quick. I think one of the biggest cons with DVDs is the trailers, and sometimes it could get scratched up. Do you remember that when DVDs got scratched to
Scratched up. Like
hell?
you would have like an old DVD when you were a kid, and you probably brought it on a bunch of trips, so it got always scratched up and everything.
Yeah. But I feel like if you handle it the correct way, it can last for a long time because like I had some DVDs for like years and years, and like by the time I was like 13, I knew how to handle a DVD. Like if you give a DVD to a kid, they're going to fuck it up. Like
Yeah.
it's
Like if you give it
guaranteed
to
they're
like
going to.
a 6-year-old, they're gonna fuck it up.
Yeah, exactly. That's the one thing I don't like about DVDs when it comes to like they're not kid proof is what I'm trying to say. That's the one thing I don't like about DVDs. But other than that, if you handle it the correct way, it can last for a long time.
Yeah, and another thing I'm not big on, I want to get into the trailer thing too, because back in like the VHS and DVD era, I don't think trailers were too bad. Because with VHS or DVD, they would sometimes maybe have like one or two trailers, but with a lot of Blu-rays I see, some of them are insane. Like sometimes they'll have like
Yeah,
20 minutes worth of like bullshit.
that's actually ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just with a DVD, you could skip through all of that. But I mean, with some Blu-rays, you can. But I haven't
Yeah.
watched a Blu-ray in a hot minute. But besides a few cons, there's still a lot more pros to physical media.
Yeah, and thankfully some Blu-rays I have, like some of the ones I bought recently, like the Indiana Jones one, for example, that one has no trailers or anything at all. It just cuts to the menu right away.
Nice.
Which actually that's
Yeah.
another thing I'm actually kind of bummed out about with some newer Blu-rays is like how back in the day a lot of DVDs and Blu-rays had like DVD menus and all that.
Oh yeah,
For
yeah.
some reason, for some Blu-rays I own, like here, let's take the Prince of Egypt for example. I bought this one recently. This one doesn't even have a DVD menu at all. It just cuts to the movie right away without any menus or anything.
That's weird.
And like that's kind of sad because I used to love it when
There's
like
interactive menu.
the menus used to be interactive, but I feel like as they went on, because first you start out with like really creative interactive menus that you could just play around with. Then eventually it just ended up becoming stock images, where it's just a picture of the movie and just having stock images. But then some
Yeah.
Blu-rays just don't even have menus at all, and it's actually kind of sad.
Yeah, it's
But
a real shame because do you remember the Ghostbusters DVD menu? That was awesome.
that
That
one was
was epic.
badass, and it had nothing to do with the movie, but it was cool.
DVDs. I remember I had a DVD of Open Season 2. Do you remember those movies?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, and this is another part I want to talk about when it comes to physical media is the special features. Now, this DVD of Open Season 2, it had special features and it even had some games, believe it or not.
It
It
did.
had some games on
Um,
it. Yeah.
these SpongeBob DVDs I have, they had some special features. Let's read one of them right here. They had commentary tracks for some of the episodes. Like you would have like the actual voice actors and creators talking about the show. Like I thought as a kid that was awesome. Let's see.
Yeah.
You had some DVD ROM games. If you put this in a DVD ROM back in the day, you could get yourself a DVD ROM game. That was awesome.
Wow.
Yeah. And let's see,
That is
music
cool.
videos, deleted scenes, and just from a random SpongeBob DVD. That's actually really cool.
Yeah, and that's something you can never get with streaming services. I don't know if streaming services are starting to add special features now. I think Netflix has added them, but it's just I think it's better. Like it's better when it's on physical media because they can add games, they can add music videos, and all sorts of cool shit. I
They
mean,
just jam
streaming
pack
services,
it.
yeah, yeah, streaming services sometimes they would add it, but most of the time, like I don't know. I think most streaming services I've seen, they just don't really care for the special features all that much. But yeah,
And
which I think is a real shame.
usually with the special features on streaming, they would just add like your typical stuff like deleted scenes, alternate scenes, but they wouldn't like go beyond it, like have stuff like music videos or ROM games or just, random stuff. Because I remember
Or
I had this,
documentary.
yeah, I remember I forgot which movie it was. It might have been a Star Wars movie, but basically it was a 1 hour documentary of just talking about the making of the movie, and it was just on a random Star Wars DVD. That's awesome, and I don't see streaming doing that.
Yeah, another really cool thing about DVDs, sometimes they would add like just a completely different like form of media, if that makes any sense. Like I remember this one time when I was a kid, I had a copy of the Goofy movie,
Yeah.
and I went through the special features, and it had like a whole like some kind of like pilot episode for the Goofy movie, I guess, and it was pretty funny. And there was this another time I had a SpongeBob DVD. It was about that one episode, I think. What's the king's name? Poseidon? Was it Poseidon
King
or
Neptune. Yeah.
King Neptune? It was about his son like fucking up shit. And it literally had a whole fanboy and chum chum episode of the special features. I shit you
I
not.
had that DVD when I was a kid. I used to rent that
Oh,
one
you
at
remember?
Blockbuster back. I know which one you're talking
Oh,
about.
you remember that? Oh man, I was so shocked. Like, whoa! I have a copy of Fanboy and Chum Chum, which I actually liked that show when I was a kid. But now besides the memes, the show's
Oh
garbage.
yeah, no, that's the funny thing about SpongeBob DVDs. Well, like when I was a kid, like I was a big SpongeBob fan. I mean, I still am, but when I was a kid, I was obsessed with it. Even though I was able to watch SpongeBob on cable and everything, sometimes I would just go to Blockbuster just to rent a SpongeBob DVD, just to look at the special features. I would do that sometimes.
Well, thankfully, there are some filmmakers out there who are big physical media like guys, and that's something I want to talk about real quick. How physical media supports these filmmakers. Like, here's the thing when it came to like physical media, why it's so important is because like let's say a movie doesn't do well in theaters. Yeah, like there's some movies that didn't do well in theaters, but when it's released to home media, sometimes it can find like a brand new life. I can't think of any examples,
Killer Clowns from
but
Outer Space.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, like when that came out, like it was from what I know, it was a flop, right? Or it just didn't do too
It
well.
was a box office bomb. It did not do well.
But once it was released on home video, that's when it just took on a whole new life. Um, which to be fair, that does happen sometimes with streaming. Like there's some movies that that failed at the box office, but when they hit streaming services, people actually appreciated them a little bit more. Which I guess that's kind of like a new way of like a cult following happening. But the thing is, like, what I'm trying to say is, like, when it comes to streaming services, it doesn't really, from what I know, it really depends on how many people watch the movie, and it doesn't really support the filmmakers all that much. And I could be completely wrong. I could be talking out of my ass right now, but it doesn't really support them all that much because it depends on how many people who watch it. And the thing is, like, you gotta keep in mind when it comes to streaming, let's say like the movie gets a cult following, sometimes it'll only get a cult following for a while and then nobody will watch it anymore. That's what happened with like, do you remember that movie that people were going nuts for? It was called, I think Megan's Missing or something.
Megan, yeah, I think that's what it was.
I think that's what it was. I can't remember it, but yeah, that kind of had like I wouldn't say a cult following. It was sort of like, I guess, a resurgence. I guess that's
Yeah.
that's really it. But
Well,
yeah.
another thing I love about physical media,
Oh, what?
it's like an archive pretty much. Because I mean, when you
Yeah.
own physical media, you're basically archiving stuff. Because let's imagine in I don't know 50 years from now, all streaming services they announce that streaming services are just gonna all disappear. Like can't watch any more streaming services. But I mean, that might not happen. But let's just do a what if scenario. But unless all my DVDs or Blu-rays explode or something, I have them all here. I will hold on. I can hold on to these for as long as I live.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, man. Yeah, exactly. Because they can't take this away from you unless they rob you or something. Like they literally just they can't take it. This is yours, and you can watch it whenever you want. But back on the topic of supporting filmmakers, now the reason why physical media supports them way more is because no matter what, people are buying this nonstop. Like they're buying these movies because, like I said, with streaming, it depends like how many people are watching it. Which, to be fair, it could get a lot of views, but it's just like it's better when people are actually buying the disc. And also there's tons of like we talked about, there's tons of special features. Like Christopher Nolan, like he's a big physical media guy and he jam-packed Oppenheimer with a shit ton of special features. Like a lot on
It's
this.
fucking
Like I think it
awesome,
has
bro.
like 3 hour plus. I think it's 3 hour plus of special features. I think I could be wrong, but yeah, it's just a lot.
So you basically got 6 hours of content on that one disc, which is crazy. You got the movie, and you got 3 extra hours. See, and I love that, but
And
most companies just don't see it.
yeah, exactly. And remember how you mentioned that physical media is like an archive?
Yeah.
That's something I was going to bring up because I don't know if you know this, but because of Blu-rays actually saved film history because there were a lot of films that were forgotten. Maybe they were released on VHS and maybe people have forgotten about them. But because a lot of these cult movie fans wanted to see these movies, in HD quality, these Blu-ray companies, like some horror companies, were able to go back to the original films and make the make the quality a lot better, and not just cult films but just like older films in general, because on the DVD it's really hit or miss with a DVD, but with a Blu-ray the quality is so much better. And they were basically taking older movies and making the quality amazing, like awesome. It's even better with 4K. It's
Yeah.
so much better with 4K.
It's making it a lot easier to find like lost movies or just old movies. Like it's like archiving them and restoring them pretty
Mhm.
much. Like it's refurbishing old movies, which is great because with streaming, I don't really see that often with them like archiving older movies hardly at all.
Yeah, it seems like they're more focused on just whatever movie,
It's
was
popular.
success. Yeah, whatever movie was popular or successful. They don't really like. I don't see a lot of streaming services like going trying to find like films and trying to find these cult movies and trying to make them look amazing. Yeah, now when we were talking about physical media, we were mostly talking about movies, but I think we should also talk about other forms of physical media like CDs, like music, books, and stuff like that. Now, the first thing I want to say about books, that's one of the only forms of physical media that's not going to go away anytime
Yeah,
soon.
like
Books are
books are
here to
always
stay.
gonna stay around. Like ebooks might have their fans and all that, but like a physical book, books are always gonna stay around. Like bookstores like Barnes and Nobles and all that, I feel like that's always gonna stick around for. I mean, books is one of the oldest forms of media in history. Like books have been around, in BC. Like they've been around for
Yeah,
a long time.
they are not going away. And there's some people that are saying, "Oh, one day all books will be gone." That's not going to happen. That's never going to
Books probably have the
happen.
biggest archive of everything. We talked about like movie archives. There are so many book archives. Probably books are probably the biggest form of media out there, honestly. It might be.
Yeah, I mean, books. It's old. It's older than movies itself.
Yeah.
It's way older than films. Like films. It's still like if you really look at it, it's still a very like well, not really new, but it's still a young form of media because film has been around since like the late 19th century,
Late
like the
19th
late 19th.
century. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, around the late 19th century. So it's still a very young form of media, but something like a book that is just so old. So it's always going to be around.
Yeah.
But anyways, besides books, now for a while things like CDs, cassette tapes, and vinyls around the early 2010s, a lot of like music companies were starting to discontinue them, which was a real shame. And
Yep.
I'm glad this happened. Like somewhere in the late 2010s, they actually started to make a big resurgence because like when it comes to music, there's like a certain quality of music you can't get on the digital version.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to vinyls, you can hear like a different quality of music. That's one of the big reasons why people from our generation, like believe it or not, people from our
They
generation
love him.
still collect vinyl. Yeah, yeah. And I think it's so cool that there's still a lot of like musicians out there. Like pretty much every musician out there has their own vinyls and cassette tapes
I
and CDs
I went
now.
to a comic book store sometime last week, and they already have a whole section just dedicated to vinyl, like no CDs or anything, just vinyl. Like that's
Yeah.
crazy because CD was when CD came out, a lot less people started using vinyl. A lot of people went to CD, but now people just going back to vinyl, which is crazy.
Yeah, so and that's one thing I want to talk about. We like one day, like once I believe like once a lot of film companies say, okay, we're not going to release physical media anymore. I think we're going to have a resurgence of physical media. That might happen because I mean, if it can happen with music, it can probably happen with movies, but it's a long shot because music, I just feel like it's a little different from movies because music, I feel like music is just a lot more personal. You know, I
It,
feel like it is.
it's more, I guess, universal, I guess.
Like, well, so is movies, but I don't know. It's just
It's kind of hard
music. It's just
because I mean, music
um,
only lasts like what, like maybe
like
2 to 5 minutes, maybe.
yeah,
So
yeah,
maybe that's why
yeah.
it's easier for people to do music instead of like movies or something, which is usually about like 2 to 3 hours long. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. And maybe just like books. Now, obviously, books is going to be the oldest form. Like I said, that's BC. Like that's
Definitely.
before Christ. But like music has been around a very long time too. Probably before movies as well. Like way before.
Of course, yeah. I mean Mozart, you know, and stuff like that. Like music
Yep.
has been around for a long time. Yeah. So, yeah, I just thought it was really great that, you know, like I said, around the late 2010s, it made a huge resurgence. But honestly, I don't know if like if if these kind of movies can make a resurgence. Hopefully, I mean, there's a lot more people. Like I've been on YouTube and I've noticed that there's some people like us, you know, or maybe like people around our age who are starting to realize maybe it's best if we just go back to tradition and just you know watch movies on DVD. You know, there's some people that start to realize that once they kind of realize, okay, you know, streaming's kind of dog shit. You know, with everything going on. So hopefully that resurgence can happen one day. Hopefully, but for now we're just gonna have to stick with our guns and you know, try to tell more people about physical media and why they should own it. Thing I want to talk about real quick. I just hope there will be a resurgence one day because a lot of like kids now, like especially the Gen Alpha kids, like I'm pretty sure most parents are just like showing them movies like, you know, on Netflix and stuff. And it's just a real shame that a lot of them are not going to have the experience we did with like special features and stuff like that. I think that's a real shame. Now, I'm sure there's some parents who do give their you know young kids DVDs. I'm sure there's some out there, but general if we're talking about general regular people, then most likely they're going to show them like a movie on like Disney Plus or something. And I just feel like it just cheapens the whole experience. I feel like a kid should also check out the special features or something or the bonus content, you know, because us being kids, we love that stuff when we were kids.
Yeah. And like I said, I'm only 19. Like I don't plan to have kids for a very long time, but
Oh
when I
yeah.
do have a kid sometime in the future, I will introduce them to DVDs. Like, I'll be like in my room doing what I do and I'll have like a movie on. And if they ask me like what you doing, I'm like, I'm playing some DVDs you want to I would get my kid not like force him to like get hooked on it, but I would introduce it
Oh,
to
of
him. It's
course.
like, like this is like my DVD collection, for example. Like if you want to just pick out a movie, go ahead and grab one. But
Yeah, it's best to just introduce it to them, not like try to like say, "Oh,
yeah,
you better watch
like
it."
say you're gonna watch Step Brothers, son. This movie's still
Step
good.
Brothers.
Fuck you. This movie's still
Uh,
good. I love that
I
movie.
don't. Okay, I may rewatch it because when I watch, I don't mean to get off topic, but when I watched it the first time, I didn't like it.
I
Like,
love
I,
it.
I
I
don't know.
love it.
It just kind of pissed me off a little bit. But that's a story for another
No, love
day.
it. But, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Like, I'll introduce my kid to stuff. And, if there's something like a YouTuber or something they watch, or they like, hey, Dad, can I watch Mr. Beast? I'll be like, all right. And instead of, having him go on YouTube and dive into the deepness that YouTube can be,
Oh
I
yeah.
might make a Mr. Beast DVD or a YouTuber they like, and I'll just put it on DVD and be like, hey, I got you a Mr. Beast to complete something, and you know get creative with them.
And that's actually something I want to talk about real quick. It's just a lot of these like dumb parents would just let their kids roam YouTube freely, which don't get me wrong, we were able to roam YouTube freely, but our parents, they're Gen X, like they did not grow up with the internet. Like by the
Yeah.
time they were adults, the internet was was like fully evolved by the
Yeah.
time they were adults. We didn't really use it. So now, unfortunately, we went down a lot of YouTube rabbit holes, and we don't want the same for our kids. I feel like our generation, we're probably going to be the first generation to tell our children, yeah, you're not going to go on the internet till you're older, till you're a lot
Yeah.
older.
If you
Probably
want
like,
to watch
may-
Mr. Beast or something, I'll make a DVD
yeah,
for you, or just download them and put them on a flash drive. Stuff like that. Like, cause even though you might watch a video like Mr. Beast or something, which is fine, if you go down to the comment section, there's some fucked up shit down there.
yeah, it's so bad. And also, there's a lot of like, just shitty like clickbait videos and stuff, And yeah, I don't want my kid watching like, like something like, let me think here, like Jake Paul or something. He's not
Oh
watching that
god,
shit.
yeah,
No
he's not
way.
watching Jake
Uh,
Paul. He's not watching I Show Speed. He's not watching any of
okay,
them.
well, yeah,
Ah,
I think we pretty much
pretty
talked
much
about
got
everything.
everything. Is there anything else you want to say on physical media? Because I think I pretty much got everything I wanted to bring up about him. It's just,
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep collecting these things as they go
Mhm.
on, and well, I almost dropped one of them, but I'm just
Yeah.
gonna keep on collecting them for
Yeah,
years to
man. I
come.
think as long as companies are still releasing them, I think no matter what, we're still gonna collect them.
Yeah,
And I just want to get this out of the way. I'm not like one of those people who says, "Oh, I'm gonna keep these forever." Like, bro, I mean, everything's temporary. Like one day, I will sell some of these.
yeah,
I'll probably keep like my favorites. Don't get me wrong, but a lot of these tapes and DVDs, I'll definitely get rid of them like someday in the future.
yeah.
You know,
I'm not gonna
nothing
throw them.
lasts.
I'm not gonna put them in a trash can and throw them away, but do
Oh
something.
yeah,
Yeah,
no way. I'm gonna give them away to like another collector, or just give them to the Goodwill.
yeah,
For like a family watch. If people still use DVDs like
yeah.
30 years from
Or
now,
maybe
I
I'll give them
guess.
to like my kids if they ever got into physical media.
Yeah, yeah. I'll maybe I can give it to my kid if they're interested in physical media at all.
Yeah.
And so yeah, and I guess the last thing I want to say is that no matter what, we're always going to be physical media people. And I'm going to be real with you. I haven't used a streaming service in a long time. It's been a while.
The only one
Yeah,
I use is Peacock. I haven't used Netflix and all these stuff in ages, and I just
yeah.
don't plan on doing
Like
it.
I did have Netflix for a little bit, but it just got a little too expensive for me during that time. I think it was 2020. It just got a little expensive for me, and I was like, well, I already collect physical media, so
So
I mean, I don't
see
really
ya.
need it.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
I don't really need it, but the one thing I want to say is that, like I said, we're not against streaming. If you like streaming, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. But we just think streaming and disc should coexist. It
Yeah.
should. You should have two options. There shouldn't just be, okay, you either buy this movie digitally, which some people do, or stream it, with like Netflix. Now, that's one thing we forgot to talk about real quick. Sometimes you could just buy movies on YouTube or whatever,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Some
which is
some
something we
some
forgot to
movies
talk
come
about.
with digital codes, like a Prince of Egypt, like I have right here, came with a digital
Yeah,
code, and I can just, which I'm okay with that. Like, just make it a coexist thing. Like, you can buy physical movies, buy them just digitally, or just have them have them just be an option
yeah,
thing. Don't just have like only one option to watch a movie or TV show.
exactly.
Have multiple options. Like,
Yeah,
give us more free will. But
exactly. Yeah, give us more options, because even if let's say we were talking about how streaming was better than physical media, it would kind of suck if like physical media was the only option, and
yeah,
that would suck, So that's why we think they should all coexist,
I agree.
you know.
But
Yes.
I
Yeah.
think that's all I really gotta say though. So
All
I
right.
guess yeah, I think that's gonna wrap it up for this video. I really appreciate you guys for watching it. Thank you to Matthew once again for being on, like always.
I'm pretty
The
much a co-host at this
co-host
point,
pretty much.
right?
The next
Yeah.
episode, we won't say what the next episode will be, but the next episode will be the season 1 finale. So we'll have that'll basically end off Cinemore Reviews season 1, and then we'll come out with more updates on that in the future. But I think for now though, I think this is gonna wrap off the video. So I appreciate you guys for watching it, and make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, that should be it. I will catch you guys later.
Yes. See ya.
Today was a long day, but it's finally time to go home. Thank God. Just go home. Maybe I'll watch a movie or something. Yo, what? What? Damn it! Where's my flashlight? Did they shut off the power again? Again? I told them I was gonna pay it. If only I had more customers, I wouldn't have to deal with it. What the? Who's there? Show yourself. Steve, if that's you, I'm gonna kick you out again, so you better...
Help, I'm a turtle and I can't get up.
What the...
It's Wet Willy time.
I don't want to Wet Willy. I don't want to Wet Willy. No.